everyone. I don't know if I'm live yet. It says it's loading, so I'm going to give this a few minutes and see if you guys can hear me, see if you guys can see me. I can't see myself. Oh, here we are. Okay. I think I'm live. If you guys can say hi, let me know that you guys can hear me, see me, and everything is good before I get started. If as you're hopping on, you guys say hello. Also, I want you in the chat to drop what program you are currently committed to, which Beachbody workout you're doing, which nutrition program you're following, as well as what personal development you're reading. I'm currently doing MBFA. This is our last week of MBFA. And then I'm also following Ultimate Portion Fix. And I am reading The Energy Bus by John Gordon. Such a good book if you guys have never heard of it. So as you're hopping on, put it in the chat what program you're doing and which PD you are reading or listening to. So I'm going to give this a few minutes. Let some more people hop on. Cannot wait to hear and see what programs y'all are doing. And I'm asking you that specifically for a very specific question, very specific reason. Awesome, Caroline. Awesome. Oh, I love Josh Coates' book. That's another one that's a really good book. Okay, you guys. I see y'all can hear me. I can see y'all can see me. So we are going to get this party started, all right? The reason why I asked you guys which program you're doing and which personal development you're reading is because that is part of our daily activities that we should be doing, you guys. We cannot take care of other people. We cannot help other people in their own journeys if we're not focusing on that for us, right? That is part of your list, right? It's part of your BIT, part of your Success Club system tracker, right? This is a tracker that I have used. I know it's been updated. It's amazing, you guys, but this is what I've been doing for the last 6.5 years of my coaching business that has helped me hit Success Club 10 and higher every single month for like 73 months in a row, okay? So this works. Success leaves clues. Every person that you see that gets on here, right, that shares what they're doing, they're using this. There's no secret sauce to this business. This is the secret sauce. I remember when I was a new coach thinking like, seeing other people who have hit Success Club 73 months in a row, I was like, that's insane. Like, I could never do that. There has to be something that they're doing that's like a secret thing. And the truth is, it's not. They were doing this. So if you don't have this, I highly encourage you guys to go into your online office. You can edit it digitally if you don't want to print it. I actually got this made from like, I don't know, Office Depot. I just went and got it bound into like a book so that I have it at all times. It's, accessible to me all the time. And I can go back and look at like past weeks to see how I was doing if I'm struggling with, getting people signed up or whatever. So let's get started. So you have to have your tracker. So make sure you have that out. Make sure that you have everything you need. Pen, if you're a pen and paper person, make sure you have that pulled up. If you use any type of tracking like Streak, Google documents, whatever you use, make sure that you have everything together. And this is how this is going to work, you guys. I am going to go through step by step of like what I do, and I'm going to explain exactly what to do. Okay, so I'll give you an action. I will walk you step by step on what to do. If you guys have questions, you can definitely ask them in the chat. But just a heads up, I do also want you guys to work. So I don't want this to be 45 minutes of you listening to me talk. So I'll set a timer and I will answer questions like during talk time, but during like the timer time, I'm going to stay silent and I'm going to actually do this with you guys. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 2 minutes to get our mindsets right, to get our whys in the forefront of our mind. This is something that I do every single time I sit down to do a power hour or even like a power pocket. I know that not everyone might not have a full hour to do something. Maybe you have to break it up in between lunch breaks or kids napping or whatever it might be. So every time I sit down to do any type of Beachbody work, you guys, I have to get my mind right. I have to like let go of the distractions that are around me. I have to be very, very focused and very intentional because I want to be my best self for these other people who I'm talking to, for my clients, for my coach, right? And so if I'm distracted and I'm not focused on why I'm doing this, I don't do it with intention if I don't focus this way, okay? So 2 minutes, you're going to write down your why, you guys. I want you to write down your why. Why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for? Is it your family? Is it to pay off debt? Is it to have more accountability in your journey? Whatever it might be, I want you to sit down and write it out. Write it out. Anytime you sit down to do your Beachbody work, write out your why. Say it out loud if you don't want to actually write it out. But you've got to get your mindset right. So we're going to set the timer for 2 minutes. I also, as you're finishing writing up your why, I also want you to envision who you want to help. I always sit down and I'm like, okay, Jessie, who can you help today? Who's the person that you can help? What does she need help with? Who are you looking for, right? So that when I go to invite, I know who I'm looking for. I know the kind of person I want to help. I know why I'm doing it. All right. So 2 minutes is on the clock. I want you to sit down, write out your why, and write out at least envision who you're going to help today. All right, you guys, I am so excited that you have your whys written down. You're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to do the first thing that most people don't want to do and they avoid it, and that's invite. Okay, again, you just got your mindset right. You know why you're doing this and you know who you want to help. So let's go share this gift with other people. I know that inviting for a lot of people is scary. I actually love it. I think that it is my favorite part of this business because I know that I have a gift to share. I know that it's my responsibility as a coach to share this with other people. If they say no, that's okay, you guys. They're not saying no to you. It's nothing against you. They're just not ready to change their life yet. And that's okay. Sometimes it takes people a little while to jump on board, right? So I get my mindset right when I go into inviting, okay? So the way that I think of inviting, I'm actually going to drop some ideas of how you can invite, like some scripts that you guys can use. Obviously, make it into your own, you guys. If you don't speak like I speak, then change it up. But the way that I think of inviting is I think of my social media almost as a storefront, okay? So when I'm sharing my journey and I'm sharing my life and I'm sharing about the workouts and the supplements and how it's helping me, when people come into my store, when they follow me, when they watch my stories, when they like my post or comment on my post, that's them being in my store, right? That's them showing up in my store. And if I owned like a brick and mortar store and someone walked in, I would immediately say, hey girl, do you need any help with anything, right? Are you looking for something specific? It's the same thing with this, you guys. I think we get so caught up in our own heads about inviting. We get super scared. We get super nervous. And there's no reason to be nervous. There's no reason to be scared because you're offering someone a chance to change their life physically, mentally, emotionally, all of the things, right? And so I look at my social media as my storefront, and when someone is in it, when they walk in and they're watching my stories, that's where I usually invite from. When they're watching my stories or they're liking my stuff, it's just normal for me to ask, hey, Is this something you're interested in? If not, it's not a huge ordeal, right? I also go into it with the fact that had my coach not invited me, where would I be? Right? I always say that to my team. Like, if your coach hadn't invited you here, if your coach hadn't followed up with you, if your coach hadn't been so consistent in sharing her journey, would you be here? Would your life be changed? And I know mine wouldn't. So I go into inviting every time thinking that way. Okay? So we're going to set a timer and we're going to take 15 minutes to do this, you guys. We're going to set 15 minutes aside and we're going to invite. I am dropping right now some invite ideas that you can use. Again, I mainly go through stories. If you are not using stories, you guys, on Instagram, highly encourage you to. Same thing with Facebook. You can get a lot of views on your stories on Facebook as well. So I use both. Today we're going to mainly focus on Instagram because I know a lot of you guys are there. So I just dropped in the chat some invite ideas. I keep it super simple. I don't overcomplicate it, you guys. I do add in some fun little emojis as well, just because that's how I talk. Not too many. You don't want to overload it, but just keeping it super simple, okay? So we're setting a timer, going to invite for the next 15 minutes. I like to do this because I know a lot of people avoid it. And if you've never read Eat That Frog, it's a great book. I think it's Brian Tracy. Eat That Frog talks about like doing the things that you don't love to do first, or that you kind of avoid doing right away, and just eat that frog early. So that's what we're going to be doing. Also, really quickly, before you guys get started, I do want to share with you guys this app that like literally changed the game for me. I don't know if it's on Android, but it is on iPhones. It's called Ditto, you guys. And basically, it's almost like a keyboard. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's basically where I keep all of my scripts, all of my invites, all of my follow-ups. And so then when I go to invite, let's just pretend like this is a message. Okay, this is just my notes section in my phone. But let's pretend like this is a message. All I have to do is I click on here and I go to whatever I'm doing. So I have like my connection messages, I have my story invites. So we're gonna go to story invites, and then I just click on that and it pops up. Super, super, super simple, and it literally made my life so much easier when I got that app. And it's called Ditto. Again, it's purple. Looks like this, 2 little lines. I don't know if it's free. It might not be free, but it's well worth the 99 cents or whatever it is, okay? Highly encourage you guys to have that, or at least have scripts in your, or invites in your note section so that you can just go copy it and paste it, okay? So super, super easy. I also like to customize my invites too, you guys. Like, I like to say, hey, Amy. I don't normally say like, hey, girl. I just usually like to customize it to where they know I'm talking to them. So I just like to do it that way. It's super simple. Okay, so 15 minutes, and we are going to get to inviting, all right? And go. All right, you guys, I'm going to answer some of these questions. Keep on inviting. I want you guys to work, but I also want to be able to answer some of your questions. So someone asked how many invites I send a day or a week. To be honest, I don't necessarily send like a specific number every single day. I try and aim for at least 30 people a day. And I know that that might seem like a lot, you guys, but again, I've been in this business for 6.5 years. And so I've built my following. Obviously, that wasn't feasible for me when I first started coaching. So keep that in mind. Don't compare your chapter 1 to my chapter 20, okay? But that is something that I had to do. I had to start talking to more people and start connecting with more people, start engaging with more people in order to be able to help more people, right? So hopefully that answers your question. I did have this bounded at Office Depot. I just sent it over to them and they did it. How long did it take for you to sign people up once you became a coach? So for me, you guys, when I started this business, I didn't really want to build the business. I just did it mainly for my own accountability. But when I started doing this tracker that month, like it didn't, if you do this consistently, I can guarantee there's like 99% chance success rate at this, you guys, if you're using this tracker consistently. It's going to take time, right? But I'm not saying you do it 1 week and then overnight you have all these people. It takes consistency. It takes time. But if you do that for 30 days, that tracker for 30 days, I can guarantee you, you're going to have people interested and you're going to have people who want to sign up with you. What's the best way to invite someone without sounding pushy? You guys, I shared a script in there, and that, like, I don't think it sounds pushy. I mean, to be honest, I think being pushy is a mindset. I think that if you go into it being like, oh, I don't want to be pushy, I'm afraid to reach out to people, like, then you're gonna feel like you're being pushy. But to me, like I said earlier, social media is my storefront. And so I don't feel like pushy when someone walks into my store and I just simply say, hey girl, see you're watching my stories, see you're watching my journey. Is it something you're interested in? Would you want to do this with me, right? I also talk to people like I talk to my best friends. Like, I literally talk to my followers like they're my best friends, because a lot of them are. Even if we don't know each other in person, a lot of them are my best friends. They follow me. They watch my life every day. And so I, make sure that I'm building relationships with those people. But when I do invite them, again, I think of it as a gift that I need to share. It's my responsibility to share this gift with someone else. So when I go to invite, I've never felt pushy, because I have that mindset that this opportunity can help them change their life. So hopefully if you go into it with that mindset, you're not going to feel pushy. You're going to know that there is a reason and an intention why you're doing this. And that's also why, you guys, I had you guys at the beginning of this training to take a second to remember why you're doing this and who you're doing this for and the kind of people that you want to help. Hey, Brian. So we still have 5 minutes, you guys, of invites. Make sure you're going through your stories. And then once you go through your stories, depending obviously on how many people are watching your stories, go to your posts. Go to posts from yesterday, even old posts. If you've been a coach for a little while, what I like to do is I like to go back to like old transformation posts, and then I go re-invite those people as well. I changed my invite up a little bit. Instead of saying like, thanks for watching my stories, I'll just say, thanks for showing me love on my posts. And then the invite part is basically the same. Caroline, I am still inviting to MBF because people can't get 30-day breakaway yet. That doesn't come out until October for clients and for customers and coaches. So I am inviting to my September boot camp, which is like MBF focused. I mean, they don't necessarily have to do MBF, but that's the program that I'm currently doing. So that's what I'm inviting to. I will be starting to trickle in 30-day breakaway stuff once, you know, the sample workout comes out and things like that. But right now I am focusing on inviting to MBF. All right, guys, we have 1 minute left, so make sure that you start wrapping up your invites. And if you know, how many invites did you just do in the last 15 minutes? If you know, I usually like keep tally just because I like to write in how many invites I sent out so that I know the number versus just saying, oh, I invited today, right? That's more so for my own accountability. Like I said earlier, I try to get in at least 30 a day. But I also know that when I was a new coach, I'd be like, oh yeah, I invited today. And it was like one person, right? So this has kind of helped me see like, okay, Jessie, are you really inviting? At least, you know, on here it says at least 5 people. So I like to write in how many invites I'm doing versus just writing that I invited so that I know like 2 to 3 weeks from now, if I'm not at the number of people that I am wanting to help, I know why. I know like, oh, it's because you didn't invite like you should have, right? So that's just for my own accountability, and that's just something I do recommend if you guys want to kind of see like how many people you're inviting per day, write it down, and then you can go back. That's also why I like having this book, because I can go back and see how many invites I've done. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, right, the thing that most people avoid, we're going to do 5 minutes of adding new people to your market, okay? So this is the initiate connections and adding followers. We're going to spend 5 minutes doing this. You can spend 20, but for this power hour, we're just going to do for 5 minutes. And the way that I do this, you guys, is we're going to, again, focusing on Instagram. So the way that I do this is I have, if you don't know, you can actually create a collection. So if you don't know what that is, basically on Instagram, you're going to see this little flag. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see. The little flag at the bottom right here. If you click on that, there's something that pops up that says Save to Collection. And you click on, you click on Save to Collection, and then there is like you can make a collection board. So I have one for my September prospects. And then the way that you find your collection is on your main page. If you go up to the top 3 lines, click on that and then press Saved. You can pull up your collections, okay? So I actually have one for my target followers, meaning like the people who have the people who I like to follow, like big bloggers, or I'm a dog mom, so like I follow a lot of other dog moms who are sharing a lot about their dogs, things like that. So if I go to target followers, these are not necessarily accounts that I'm going to go and interact with just because they have such big followings, and my interactions with them probably will get dismissed. They probably won't get to see it as much, but I go into their followers. So for example, we're going to click on, let's see here. I'm just going to pick someone random. Here we go. Okay, so this girl has 23,000 followers, okay? And so she is someone that I connect with. And so I will go into her following. So let's just say like we're gonna go to this post, and she's got a lot of people who are liking her stuff, okay? And a lot of people who are commenting. So I'm gonna go into her post and then I'm gonna click on her comments and see who's commenting, and then I go and I follow those people. So you're gonna do this 5 minutes. We're gonna follow at least 20 new people, and go and make sure that you're like looking. You don't have to look at every single post of theirs, but make sure that they're not already a coach. Also make sure that there's someone that you feel like you connect with. If you don't feel like there's anything that you guys have in common, move on. Don't follow them. Okay, so we're gonna spend 5 minutes. I also do this with a local boutique that I shop at, because I really love being able to meet up with my clients or meet up with my coaches for coffee if I can. Or whatever. So obviously pre-COVID. So I like to look at a lot of like local places. So I go into like local boutiques, local restaurants, things like that into their Instagrams, and I'll do the same thing. So I go to who's commenting on their stuff, who is engaging on their stuff, and I am going to go and follow those people. Okay. We're not doing anything but following them right now. Okay. So and then once you do, you can, if you want to make a collection of those people. So like if you want to, like I just showed you guys how I made like a Target collection. You can also make like a September collection of the people who you are now following so that you can go back and engage with them. Okay, so setting a timer for 5 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, just make sure you drop them in, okay? 5 minutes and go. Hey, I'm on a call. All right, you guys, we have one more minute of new followers. We're adding new followers to our network. All right, you guys. So that was 5 minutes of adding new followers. So now we're going to go connect with people and engage with people, okay? This is really, really important because when you do connect with someone and you engage on their stuff, they're going to start engaging back with you, right? If you do it in a genuine way. So we want to make sure that we are taking time to connect and, engage with those followers that we're following, engage with the people who are following us as well. So what I like to do, like I said, I do have a collection where I have like my September collection on Instagram where you can go and engage with those people. But if you guys don't have that right now, we're going to focus on another way to engage. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to go into who's already following me and connect with those people, because I think a lot of times we're so focused on finding new people that we sometimes forget about our people who are already following us, right? And so that's really important that you're spending time connecting and engaging with them. So all I do is I go into who is following me, okay? And then I just go and engage with them. So what I like to do is I like to, if they have stories, I like to watch their stories, and I try and engage there. So like if they're wearing a cute shirt or talking about something specific in their stories, I like to like engage back, because then I'm instantly in their DMs. I don't necessarily just send them an invite if we've never really connected before. With this process, okay? Obviously, if they're already watching my stories, yes, I will invite them before I necessarily like make a connection, because they're already watching me. They're already in my store, right? But these people, just because they're following me, they might not know who I am. They might not see my stories. So I like to engage with the people who are following me. And you could do the thing too where you go through your who you're following, and do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to go into my followers, and I'm going to go through it. I'm going to engage with those people. And the way that I do this is I watch their stories, or I do the 3-2-1 method where you like 3 of their photos, you comment on 2 of them, and then you follow them. That's the one. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to spend 5 minutes doing that. So the people who are, again, following you, or who you're following, you decide who you want to connect with, okay? And then we will go from there. Do they have to, sorry, I'm reading questions. Do they just have to be female if you're a female? No, you can invite guys, you guys. I personally, I've invited males, but my like niche is more female. That's just who I connect with, but I have clients, I have coaches that are male as well. Do you add only people who follow you in your collections, or a mix of followers, not followers? So I add to my collections like people who I feel like I want to go back and connect with, right? Like with this process of like what we're about to do, where I'm going in and I'm engaging, liking their stuff, commenting on their stuff, that kind of thing. When I follow them, I will sometimes add them to a collection so that I can go back and engage with them, because I'm not going to remember every single person who I'm following, or who I just sent a follow request to. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so 5 minutes we are going to spend connecting with people who are either following us or that we're following. You get to decide on that. All right, so I'm going to press start and go. I also, by the way, you guys, I unfollow them if they're a coach. There's no reason to be going and following a bunch of coaches. So if I notice on their page that they're a coach, then I unfollow them. When their account is private, then what? Skip and move on. Yeah, so unless you want to follow them, you totally can. That's up to you. I have followed people whose accounts are private. And then obviously if they accept my friend request, then, or my, not friend request, but like my invite request, whatever it's called, then I can engage on their stuff. But yeah, like you can't engage with them if their stuff is private. So that's up to you, but I usually just skip it. And in terms of like this, if I'm sitting down to do a quick power hour or action hour, then yeah, I just move on. Okay, so that was 5 minutes of connecting. So we just did basically 10 minutes of adding new followers and connecting, right? Okay, so then we are going to move on to public inviting in your stories. You guys, it's so important that you are publicly inviting in your stories as well. And you should be doing this daily. You should be inviting publicly as well as privately daily. So that when you do send an invite, like a lot of times what I say is like, not sure if you saw in my stories, or not sure if you saw my post, right? Like I make sure that they know that I have info on like how my boot camps are ran or the coaching opportunity. I invite to publicly. So there's different ways that you can do this. You can go on your stories really quick and talk about your boot camps. I like to do that sometimes. Or I know some people will make, slides that you can use, or like through Canva, that kind of share what's in your boot camps or your new coach mentorship, whatever it is you're inviting to, right? There's different ways that you can do this. I like to do polls, right? That's a really easy way. And then that way tomorrow, you can go to that poll and invite. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend 5 minutes at least going in, doing a poll on your stories. And you can do it different ways where it's like, what do you struggle with most? Nutrition, fitness, right? If you had accountability for both of those, do you think that would help you? Yes or no, right? I don't like to I usually don't even give no. I just feel like, heck yes, of course, right? Things like that. And then that way you can go in and invite those people tomorrow for your action hour. Okay, so we're going to spend 5 minutes however you want to do it. Again, you can go onto your stories really quick and just say, hey guys, my next boot camp's kicking off on this date, or my next new coach mentorship is kicking off on this date. Let me know if you want in, or whatever. This is what's included. You can share however you want. So we're going to spend 5 minutes in doing that. So Heidi said, I only get robots commenting on my polls. I have the hardest time getting engagement. Yeah, the robot thing happens to all of us, you guys. If you're struggling to get engagement, kind of do like a self-reflection of like, do you engage? Do you give engagement? Because what we get back is what we give, okay? So if you are not engaging consistently on other people's stuff and like truly engaging, not just like liking one of their posts and then moving on, but like commenting, watching their stories, engaging with them, then they're not going to engage back with you. They're not going to engage on your stuff if you're not engaging on other people's stuff. So that's one tip that I have with engagement. Another thing too, you guys, is if all you're doing is putting up polls and like not going into your stories and talking, that's also another problem with that, like could be affecting your engagement. People need to get to know you, and they can't get to know you if you don't go in and talk. And I know it's really weird in the beginning, like going into your stories and talking, you feel like you're talking to yourself, but it's so important because that's how people get to know me. Like I've met some of my clients in person, I've met some of my coaches in person, right? And they're always like, I feel like I know you and we've never met in person, right? Or like when we do meet up in person, they're like, oh, you're the same person that you are on social media. And yeah, I am. I go in my stories and I talk and I share my life, and it's not just all Beachbody either. Like I try and incorporate other parts of my life so that can be relatable to them too, because not everyone is going to relate to the girl that likes to work out, or the girl that is following a meal plan, or the girl that is waking up at 5 a.m. every morning. Like some people don't relate to that, right? So incorporate things that they can relate to you on, right? When you do polls too, yes, you're gonna get robots and stuff too, but if you do them like different things as well, not just health and fitness related. So like if you're going on a date night and you have 2 outfit options, share that and say, which option should I wear, right? People, I think my most engaged poll was when I was talking about how my husband never changes the toilet paper roll. I was like, does anyone else's husbands leave the, the little toilet paper roll empty? Like, that's so aggravating. Anyone else feel me? And y'all, I think I had like, I don't even know, it was an insane amount of people who commented on that poll. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna go in and invite those people necessarily, but those are them engaging. And guess what? When they engage, Instagram automatically thinks that we're friends, and they're like, okay, we're gonna show more of Jessie's stuff to this chick over here because she's engaging with her content. So incorporate polls and stuff as well that isn't just focused on inviting to a boot camp or inviting to the coaching opportunity. Like, let it be something that is silly or something that is more fun for them to engage on, okay? So just putting that out there. Hopefully that helps, Heidi. All right, you guys. So I put 20 minutes for this action, but we're not gonna have enough time. So we're gonna do 10 minutes of this, and it is follow-ups. And you guys, follow-up is key. I know I shared that I've been hitting Success Club 10 for 73 months in a row, and I'll be honest, it's because of my follow-ups. Yes, and my inviting, but like follow-ups is where it's at, okay? And again, a lot of people go into this thinking like, oh, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want people to think I'm like hounding them. And it's the way you follow up. Keep in mind too that like I always remind my girls, how many times did I have to follow up with you before you said yes? Again, we're not just selling someone a product and being like, okay, good luck with your stuff, right? We're asking someone to change their habits. We're asking someone to do work, put in effort, right? We know that these programs work, but they have to actually do work, right? They have to show up in their workouts. They have to change some of their eating habits. They have to drink a shake every day. Like, we are asking them to change something. We're not just asking them to buy something and like wishing them well. So in my mind, I know that not everyone I invite or everyone that has told me yes is like necessarily ready to make a change. And so it does take some time of me following up. Sometimes, you guys, I followed up with people for like 7 to 8 months and they finally said yes. So in my mind, I always think like, could this be the month that they are ready to make that change? I'm not saying that you have to follow up with them every single day and annoy them. We don't want you to do that, right? But you following up is part of it. It's part of you showing that you actually care about them, that you want to help them. So I'm going to drop some follow-up suggestions in the chat as well, and hopefully they can help you a little bit. But basically, what I do is I go into the people who are most recently like saying that they're interested. I send them information. Maybe I sent over pricing. Follow up with them first, okay? And then I go through the people who have ghosted me, the people who are no longer like really, I mean, they're still watching me, but they haven't responded, right? Maybe they 6 months ago told me that they were interested. I followed up with them a few times and they haven't jumped in yet. But they're still watching. I still follow up with them, you guys. I still reach out and say, hey, I know you were interested before. Is it something you're still interested in? All they have to do is simply say, no, I'm not interested, right? And that's fine. But I'm going to give them the opportunity to tell me no. So I highly encourage you guys, if you don't have this already, have some type of system, tracking system, you guys. Do not leave it in your inbox. Meaning like, don't say, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow up with those girls tomorrow, because you're not gonna remember their handles. You're not gonna remember who to follow up with. Have some type of system. I use Streak, and I know that can be like a learning thing. You have to learn how to use it, but it is so worth learning. So I use Google Streak. It's free, and it's a really easy way to track your people. I don't track everyone I invite. I just track the people who are showing interest. So once someone that says like, yes, send me more details, I put them into my streak. Okay. And then I have like I move them through a pipeline. So I have like, I invited them and they said that they wanted more information. I sent them the information. I, followed up with them once, I followed up with them twice, and then I just keep moving them down until they sign up. Okay. So follow up is key. We're going to spend like 10 minutes on this. And if you don't have a tracking system, again, highly encourage you to get one. So I'm going to press start and go. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. This will be the last thing that we do today, you guys. All right, you guys, we've got like 4 more minutes of follow-ups, but I wanted to give you guys one last opportunity to ask me any questions that you might have had of whatever we did today. I would be more than happy to answer those questions. So we've got about 4 minutes left, and then we will be done our power hour. And I appreciate you guys hopping on with me today. Hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment on the chat, especially if you are watching the recording. Feel free to comment on the chat, and I would be more than happy to answer those. Not sure if you already said this. How many action hours do you normally do a day? So this is my full-time job. Forgot to mention that in the beginning. So I do about 2 like focused power hour or action hours a day. But I also work like do on other stuff. So I do like my money making business, moving my business forward activities in those 2 power hours, and then or power action hours, and then I do throughout my day just do the other like fluffy stuff meaning like team graphics and shout outs and things on my team page. But like mainly my like money making activities I do about 2 a day. And that's some days, you guys. Some days I can only do 1. It just depends on what we've got going on. But I do not go to bed without at least doing 1. I do, and mainly doing those invites, follow-ups, connections, engaging with people, that kind of thing. Like I do not go to bed unless it is done. So make sure, I also don't invite on Saturdays and Sundays. I just take those days off of work. I'm still showing up. I'm still present on social media. I still make posts. I still, show up, but I am not necessarily inviting on the weekends either. So hopefully that helps. All right, you guys, we've got 1 more minute left, and then we're gonna be done. See how simple that was? So simple. Hopefully you guys got a lot of work done. I always feel super productive after my power hour or action hours. I just love it. I love like feeling like I've knocked off my to-do list. I've been able to hopefully help someone. I actually just sent out a share cart. So that's awesome. But yeah, I just end my power hour, my action hour with like that feeling of joy and like, I don't know. It just makes me happy because I know that I'm able to help someone change their life because of this simple list. All right, we are officially done. Thank you guys so much for getting on with me working today. Like I said, I hope that this helped you get some work done. I want you to do this, you guys, every single day. Give this the consistent effort that it needs, because I can guarantee that if you do those things, so we just did, if you do those things over and over and over, those actions are going to compound. You can't just do it once, and it's just like your workout. You can't just do one workout and expect to have six-pack abs, right? You can't do one healthy meal and expect to lose 60 pounds, right? Like, you have to do those things over and over and over again in order for it to compound to those bigger results that you want, just like your business, okay? You have to do these things over and over and over again in order for it to compound, in order for you to go back to that why, that reason why you started this. When we first sat down today and you wrote out your why, these actions will help you get there, but you have to do them consistently, and you have to show up every day and work on being the best coach that you can be. So I hope that this is helpful. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, everyone.